This video is presented by Faith Gateway. Faith Gateway is an online store for Christian content. In the description of this video and as its pinned comment, there is a special link from me, Ryan Holman, to get 30% off of Faith Gateway's selection of Bernstein Bears books. Throughout the history of NASCAR, something that has existed has been replacement winners. For whatever reason, a driver would have to miss an event, and the driver hired to replace them went on to win. A rarer version of this is the double replacement win. First, some background. For the 2011 NASCAR Truck Series, Kevin Harvick Incorporated had 3 full-time entries. The number 2 was for their all-star lineup, led by Elliott Sadler, Clint Boyer, and Harvick himself. The number 8 for Nelson Piquet Jr., and the number 33 for Ron Hornaday Jr. Since 2005, the Harvick number 33 truck had been Hornaday's iconic vehicle in this series. Started in 2006, Hornaday had won 20 races, including 5 consecutive in 2009, in the championship that year and in 2007. After 19 races in 2011, Hornaday had won twice and was ranked 5th in the championship. Meanwhile, the number 2 entry had won 4 races. Consequently, it was ahead of the number 33 in the Owners' Championship. Harvick made the decision to move Hornaday to the number 2 entry to help both sides win their respective championships. In his first 2 races in the truck, Hornaday won at both Kentucky and Las Vegas. For Talladega, the initial plan was for the number 33 truck to have Sadler, Harvick's Sportsman Series driver that had finished second at the Daytona season opener in the number 2 truck, as the driver, but this changed.
In this 33 truck, Bill, is supposed to be Elliott Sadler, but Elliott needed some time off. He and his wife Amanda are about to have a baby, or as Elliott's brother Hermie put it, that baby could be here any minute. So Elliott needed a temp. He and team owner Kevin Harvick huddled and picked St. Louis, Missouri's Mike Wallace. Mike is a 4-time truck winner, including a big victory down at Daytona in a truck. I know how big those are. Mike has a total of 36 NASCAR starts here at Talladega, and he will lean on that experience today to try to win again. Wallace starts 6th today in his Anderson's Maple Syrup Chevy. And guys, nothing says speed to me like maple syrup.
Well, Ray, we know it takes a good team and a good teammate to get to victory lane here at Talladega, and I'm anxious to see this race today because it's not only going to take teammates, I think it's going to take experience. That's why we see Mike Wallace in that 33 truck today, not only to try to win the race for the 33, but also push the 2 in Ron Hornaday, maybe to another championship. I'm a little concerned about some of these inexperienced drivers trying to do what the big boys are going to do tomorrow. We'll see if they can get it done and have a good, safe race today here at Talladega.
Good point, Hermie. Inexperience is going to be a big key to the winning this race. Can you get through drivers that don't have much experience?
Mike Wallace is the younger brother of 1989 Cup Series champion Rusty Wallace and the older brother of 9-time Sportsman Series race winner Kenny Wallace. Mike started his NASCAR career in 1990 at the age of 31 years. In 1994, he won a trio of Sportsman Series races with Owen Racing. Wallace's best NASCAR seasons were in the Truck Series in 1999 and 2000 with Ultra Motorsports. Each year they won 2 races and finished 6th and 4th in the championship, respectively. The only other time Wallace made the top 10 in the final standings and/or qualified for the playoffs was when he drove for Germain Racing in the Sportsman Series in 2008. That year, they finished in the top 10 8 times and finished 8th in points. Wallace's other win was in July 2004 at the Sportsman Series race at Daytona for Biaggi Brothers Racing. Through 2010, Wallace had finished in the top 10 in 14 Cup Series races. The best finish he had was 2nd at Phoenix in 2001 as a teammate to his older brother at Team Penske. Wallace started 24th and led for 45 of 267 laps. 2001 was the closest Wallace came to entering every Cup Series race for a season, as he entered 33 of 36 races that year with Ultra, initially, and then Penske as a replacement for Jeremy Mayfield. From 1992 to 2010, Wallace entered the Daytona 500 14 times and qualified successfully for it 10 of those times. Finished 6th in 2001 with Ultra and finished 9th in 2003 and 4th in 2007 with Phoenix Racing. At Talladega in October 2008, Wallace drove for Richard Childress Racing in the Cup Series race as a teammate to Kevin Harvick in the number 33 entry. Wallace started 6th, ran in the top 10 for most of the first half of the race and challenged for the lead, but had a tire failure that damaged his car, causing him to finish 21 laps down in 30th place. On the first lap of the 2011 Truck Series race, Wallace led a second pack of drivers. By turn 3, Hornaday was tandem drafting with Wallace. The two had a large lead by turn 3 of the second lap. However, the two then swapped positions so that the engine on Hornaday's truck would not overheat. Quickly, Wallace and Hornaday dropped in the field. By lap 10, they were attempting to pass some back markers on the outside. Within the next 4 laps, the two were likely voluntarily racing conservatively. If so, this was a smart strategy, as there was a multi-truck crash on lap 14. The Harvick team increased the position for Wallace when he pitted with most other drivers. Following the race start, Wallace and Hornaday started a third line and got close to the front of the field.
You see Mike Wallace and Hornaday hooked up again.
3 wide once again as they come out of turn 4 and head toward the tri-oval. Again, the start-finish line past the tri-oval here as they go through the apex of that turn. Here comes the 33 and the 2 once again. They are tied together and faster than the pack, going for the lead.
I just like watching Hornaday do this. You don't see him all moving around like we watched Bodine and Kligerman earlier. Hornaday seems like he's got a real good grasp for that truck. He's able to push Mike really straight. That's tighty right there. That's tight.
And I know that KHI team spent a lot of time and effort in their cooling system to be able to do this longer than the other teams can.
And let me tell you another little piece of information, guys. You got to get your setup right as well. If your rear end's skewed, or if you have some sort of weird track bar location underneath the back of your truck, that'll affect the way your truck handles while it's being pushed. So you have to set up your truck knowing that you're going to get shoved and see what the effect of that is.
Roger, Mike. What you got to do is stay in the middle. Stay in the middle.
There's Hornaday, who's pushing right now. Mike Wallace letting him know, stay in the middle. Hornaday stays right behind.
But there's some of these guys that haven't put in the practice to understand what their setup is and how it's going to be affected. Phil, these two are making it look easy. Other people will want to try it. They'll find out.
Pick your spot. That's perfect because you're getting air and they're not catching you.
Michael, see how far over he is? He's getting some air to the radiator now. He could probably drive for an extended period of time like that.
With the push, Wallace's 19th lap was 190.951 miles per hour, while lap 25, third place Ricky Carmichael was about 4 seconds behind Wallace. Over the next 9 laps, other drivers would start working with others to start tandem drafting, which put them quite ahead of the field. On lap 36, Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton crashed with Wallace leading, resulting in the field bunching up under caution. Before lap 42 of 94 ended, Hornaday drafted with Wallace to get the latter into the lead. The drafting combination of Parker Kligerman and Todd Bodine caught up to them. On lap 48, Kligerman spun and the race had its third caution time. Between the two, Wallace had a quicker pit stop than Hornaday. 4 laps later, the former almost lost control close to the timing line. Moments later, Jamie Dick had an engine failure and the race had its 4th caution period. Most of the field used this time to make pit stops. Hornaday's was quicker than Wallace's. However, before the exit, he slowed up and allowed both Wallace and Kyle Busch to be ahead of him, meaning the Harvick trucks would line up in a line. Wallace and Hornaday restarted 3rd and 5th and were directly behind 2nd place James Buescher. The two Harvick drivers were now in a position where they were boxed in. Going down the back straightaway, they continued to be behind Buescher. Then Max Pappas led a group of drivers from the top line and they too were ahead of Wallace. Wallace and Hornaday were 7th and 8th in the bottom line. However, they were in a more open position. The first 6 drivers in the line moved further away.
They got them hooked up, Phil.
Yep, they have some room in the middle, don't they?
Is there room for them?
I believe there's room for them. There they go.
Here comes Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday once again.
You look right behind them. Todd Bodine has a hold of his teammate Brendan Gaughan now.
How about Max Pappas doing a great job of that Geico Toyota, running 3rd right now, but he's got a couple tandems coming to his outside.
Pappas' best finish of 2011 was 10th at Martinsville earlier this year. Hermie.
Yeah, guys, went up and down pit road here, and most everybody says they can make it on fuel, at least to the last lap. Maybe not a green right checker, but the 2 Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks, Josh Richards and Kyle Busch, both their trucks are 1 lap and 1/2 short. A lap and a half short. We'll have to see if they can stretch it to the end if it goes green.
And it's hard to save gas when you're pushing another truck, Phil. So Kyle Busch, his situation right there is going to be tough to save any. If you're the front truck, you can feather out of the gas and save a little bit of fuel. But if you're pushing, you're committed.
It looks like Austin, more than likely where he is right now, is saving a little fuel, as well as the 33 of Mike Wallace.
By the next lap, Wallace and Hornaday were back to having a large lead. This time it was over the tandem draft of Austin Dillon and Busch. With 25 laps remaining, more combinations started to tandem draft and got close to the Wallace-Hornaday team.
Look who's coming to join the party battle for the lead. Kyle and Austin, like you said, Phil, got a few laps under his belt now. They've put some ground on, or gained some ground on our leaders.
Going to the high side. It's still the 33 of Mike Wallace, just in front of Hornaday.
In fact, that two-truck tandem there running third and fourth ran the fastest lap of the race last time by.
49.350 seconds.
We're getting up around 190.
195.
Yeah, in a truck. I just can't get over that.
And remember, the pole was 177.
Uh-oh.
Still right with you. He still got
A
you.
while back there for third and fourth.
Come on, got a little momentum here.
Now they've got the momentum. We just heard Andy Houston say, you've got the momentum. To the outside, this is the race for the lead. Wallace on the inside with Hornaday pushing. Austin Dillon on the outside, Kyle Busch pushing.
This is like that chicken and the egg thing. One of them is committed. I don't know how that goes, but this is a major deal for the guy running in the lead. No matter what he sees, he can't report the word. He can't report the word back to the guy behind him fast enough. You know, if something goes wrong, he can't get that button pushed and tell him what's wrong quick enough.
And right now, Kyle Busch has to rely on Austin Dillon and Austin Dillon's spotter to let them know where that other group is in front of them.
And the pack behind them. And the top four have separated themselves in the pack. Working behind. As you see the slower truck on the inside of Miguel Paludo. Almost a pick for Mike Wallace as they saw the three of Austin Dillon coming up to the inside.
You know, we saw this. This is pretty interesting tandem. Kyle Busch held the Richard Childress truck. There was a point in time this summer when
that didn't go so well.
Papa decided he would explain Kyle he didn't race properly.
Remember, when you get on this racetrack right here, you find whoever is willing to work with you and whoever's going to help your situation.
Is that second tandem there a perfect example of that?
Absolutely perfect. Strange bedfellows sometimes this kind of racing makes.
They've caught him, but they just can't figure out how to make the move around them. And you know, we see the three truck of Austin Dillon moving around a lot. That's dangerous when you get up beside another truck and they start moving around. You don't have as much margin for error.
This is the closest they've been to the lead on the outside. The 3 and the 18 trying to make the push around the 33 and 2. Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch just can't make it work. Mike Wallace, Ron Hornaday stay in the top 2 spots.
And sometimes when you have air from another truck like that, it'll cause you to become on hook too.
Yeah, and you really want to try to side draft a little bit, Phil. You saw when they got to the corner, Austin went really high and they lost ground on him. If Austin could be comfortable with hanging his left front fender right on the side of Hornaday's truck, then that will give them the momentum, the side draft that they need. But see how far they go away?
The
drivers are working together on the right, and the crew chiefs are working together on the left. 2 opposing crew chiefs sitting on the same pit box right now.
That was Eric Phillips on the left talking to Danny Stockman here on Danny Stockman's pit box.
How about that? That's something you definitely don't see.
Here. We'll work on passing them later. My temp's getting too hot chasing his ass.
There you go.
Okay, message delivered right now.
Talking about we can't pass him.
Well, the issue is, like I said, if Kyle could just stay over to the left, or excuse me, if Austin could stay over to the left a little bit. Oh, they came apart. The leaders came apart. That's going to give Austin Dillon the lead and a valuable championship point.
All around clear.
And by a good bit, too, it may take a while for them to get hooked back up and regain that momentum for Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday.
Mike Wallace has led 42 of the 75 laps complete. He will have the most laps led in this race. But who will get to victory lane first? That's the big question that's going to be answered right here on Speed.
Then, on lap 77, Wallace got back the lead, but the Dillon-Busch alliance were still close behind. However, they split when Busch backed off to presumably cool his truck down.
Yeah, more than likely somebody's overheating because of being tucked in behind somebody.
Maybe Johnny Sauter.
Could be possibly Johnny Sauter, as we have a side-by-side two-way battle for the lead.
How can you not like this two-truck racing? I mean, we got battles all over the place.
Austin Dillon couldn't quite clear Mike Wallace, so Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch still back in the third and fourth spots. Mike Wallace, Ron Hornaday running for second. You're seeing the two move out to the outside of that 33, trying to get some air into the radiator of that truck.
You know, these guys have been hooked up this way the entire race, so obviously KHI did their homework with the cooling system, because Ron Hornaday has been able to push that 33 at Mike Wallace this entire race.
Yeah, and they've thought of every detail, from the way they exit pit road to the way they push each other. They haven't varied from their strategy. This is awesome to see somebody have a plan that is so buttoned up.
Ray, it seems like this plan is working very well for the 2 and the 33.
And what they've learned, guys, so far is that they've got to be at the bottom of the racetrack, because if they force that 3 and 18 to the high side, they don't believe they're good enough together to make that pass. But if they were able to get to the inside of them, especially in the tri-oval, they might be able to pull it off. But right now, the bottom seems to be the fastest for the 2 KHI trucks.
What you got? Still there.
Right now, the 3 and 18 are up beside the 33 and 2 as they work their way into 3 and 4.
That's a perfect shot that the bumpers don't match up at all. You see, it's the grill of the two-truck of Ron Hornaday that's pushing the rear bumper of Mike Wallace's truck.
And the back two trucks, Phil, if Austin Dillon could get over there and get his left front fender on the quarter panel of Ron Hornaday, he could pull those trucks apart. He could put enough aero drag on the back truck to separate them two and maybe drive around them. That's what Austin needs to be playing with right now, trying to figure out how to manipulate the truck of Ron Hornaday to possibly pull them apart. He can use that information that comes to the last few laps.
With 11 laps left, Dillon and Busch got back to the top 2. Suddenly in turn 3, Wallace lost control before correcting himself. Consequently, he and Hornaday dropped quite behind the new top 2. Then, Chris Fontaine crashed and a race had its 5th caution. With Harvick's teammates in 3rd and 4th, they would line up next to, not in line, with each other.
We'll see how strategy plays out. The 3 and the 18 have been working together. Now they're side by side on this restart.
Green flag.
6 laps of racing to go. Green flag back in the air.
As soon as he crosses the start-finish line to the bottom, Kyle Busch gets hold of the bumper. You can see in the back there, Hornaday shot right up behind Mike Wallace. They did a perfect job as well.
The dancing partners have shown themselves immediately here.
Go, man, go.
Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon became
Caution out
unhooked.
for debris. Caution out for debris.
Debris on the racetrack. Caution has come out once again.
They see that was inexperience on Austin's part. Austin got too good of a start on Kyle Busch. He was too far ahead of him, so Kyle couldn't get to him. What Austin needs to do, as soon as he pulls over, run half throttle, feel that truck of Kyle Busch, get into the back of him, and then gently squeeze the gas down. Look at all that debris, Rick.
Yeah, the debris on the racetrack, and one of the trucks just hit it. That's why the caution came back out.
Now we're going to have Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday. Now we'll be starting both in the front row, so I think we're going to have the same situation. One of them is going to let the other one pull out in front of them so they can get hooked up right away.
But you remember in the Daytona 500, David Reagan had that plan to pull over right away. He pulled over too soon. You cannot change lanes before the green flag or before the start-finish line. Reagan was penalized. So Austin Dillon, while he needs to get a good jump and he needs to get to the left, he's got to wait till, Ron Hornaday, he's got to wait till, and Austin Dillon the same way. Everybody's got to get across the start-finish line before they start moving around. So whether you're Hornaday and Wallace or Dillon and Busch, clear the start-finish line.
2 laps until we see the checkered flag. Mike Wallace, Ron Hornaday, 1 and 2 coming out of the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air.
All right, come on down right now.
There's one out of gas back there, Phil.
Yeah,
One shaking out of gas down on the apron.
He won't make it back. If he doesn't get out of the way, we're going to have a caution.
I think they'll run 2 laps before they even before he even stops.
Here comes Ricky Carmichael.
James Buescher just in front of him.
Got to hold somebody.
That was the 17 of Timothy Peters that was running out of gas. Now we've got the 33 of Mike Wallace in front of Ron Hornaday. Down the back stretch they go. Here comes James Buescher and Ricky Carmichael running 3rd and 4th.
And we know how fast those 2 trucks are. The first time we've seen them hooked together. Can they run up there and do something with our 2 leaders?
3 wide, back 10th through 20th. And they're spreading out as they come out of turn number 4.
If they get to the white flag here to the start-finish line before the caution comes out, the next flag will finish this.
We hope we don't see another caution across the stripe. 1 lap to go. Mike Wallace just in front of Ron Hornaday. Now the big question, will there be KHI orders for Hornaday to win this race?
That can't happen, Phil, because here comes Buescher and Carmichael. They do anything other than what they're doing, they're going to lose that first and second spot. They got to hang right like that until the very last second. There's a chance at the start-finish line. Maybe Hornaday pulls out, but here comes Buescher.
Here comes the run by Buescher and Ricky Carmichael. Going into turn number 3. Wallace and Hornaday 1 and 2.
How about Jason White, top 9, top of the racetrack, hooked up.
Coming out of turn number 4, this is where all the action will take place. Here comes the run. James Buescher trying to go to the outside. Mike Wallace being pushed by Ron Hornaday through the tri-oval. 400 yards to go. It's going to be Mike Wallace who's going to win this one at Talladega.
And that is a Kevin Harvick Incorporated win right there.
Oh, God. I am so excited.
Hey,
Great job, Mike Wallace. Great job, Ron Hornaday. Couldn't dream of it any better like that.
in baseball, they talk about manufacturing runs. That team manufactured a victory.
And that was a team victory. No question about it. Mike Wallace was pushed around this racetrack for virtually 54 laps by Ron Hornaday. The ones that he led, that was Ron Hornaday pushing him around this racetrack.
And I think if maybe they had a bigger lead at the end, we might have seen a different outcome, but Michael hit it right in the head. They couldn't take a chance. They were not going to give that win away by trying to get Ron Hornaday out in front.
I would have tried it with a few hundred feet to go. But it's close, man. Let me just give it a shot. But what a smart move by Ron Hornaday. He's racing for a championship. He comes in here some 20 points out. He's cut that to 16. Our championship battle at one point, Austin Dillon had some 20 points over everybody. Now he's only 3 ahead of James Buescher.
Again, Austin Dillon had to go back. He finishes 7th unofficially in this race. Ray Dunlap.
I'll tell you what, guys, if they ever write a program about how to make teamwork work, that was it today, Bruce Cook. How'd you guys do it?
I can tell you one thing, what happened today was Kevin Harvick. The man is so good at what he does and drafting and experience of this. We brought a gun to a knife fight. We weren't going to bring a knife to a knife fight, so we were prepared for this. Them 2 guys did a great job. Kevin talked to him the whole race and did such a good job of coaching him. Ron's never had to do this, so it was new to him. And Mike, what can I say about him as being a speedway racer? It was just an awesome day for KHI, and we'll go to Martinsville, kick some butt.
How about 7 wins for you this season?
Yeah, it's been a good season so far. Chris Carrier's taking care of the 33, and I was taking care of 2. And next week we'll swap again, but what a great year so far.
All right, congratulations, Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday. The tag team today showed them how to do it at Talladega.
Ray, that is the 6th 1-2 finish for Kevin Harvick Incorporated in the Camping World Truck Series.
I think this may have been the most impressive 1-2 finish they've ever had because, Michael, this race was won in the shop back in Kernersville, North Carolina, because they had it scienced out. They had the cooling system scienced out. They knew what they were going to do. They did it from lap 1 on.
I love it. I love what that team did. Again, I agree with Bruce Cook. Congratulations, Kevin Harvick. That's how you put a plan together right there.
How about the excitement out of Mike Wallace? Here, the 52-year-old out of St. Louis, Missouri. Last time he went to Victory Lane in the Camping World Truck Series was back in 2000 at Mesa Marin. We don't even run at that track anymore.
What did you say? Nothing says speed better than Anderson's maple syrup?
If you don't know what fast is, you got to think maple syrup. That'll get it done in a hurry. I just think this is a great story. Mike Wallace did an amazing job. He was my speed spotlight driver, Phil. Has a speed spotlight driver ever won a race?
I'll tell you what, how about opposite end of the spectrum, though? Disgusted look on the face of Austin Dillon. Let's go down to Hermie.
Well, Ron Hornaday getting a kiss from the wife and talking about your teammate gets to burn the engine down, and you haven't been able to do that. But another great run for you guys. That's teamwork to perfection today for KHI.
It was. We didn't know how it was going to work, but Bruce and all the guys worked really hard. Kevin brought us in there. Kevin Delaney, thank you. And Bad Boy Buggy, this is fun to drive this 2 truck. I mean, this is what it's all about. And Anderson, got to thank them for letting this thing happen. I was supposed to be driving that truck, but Kroger, Hunt's Brother Pizza, Ream. I'm going to catch Mike Wallace real quick, but I'll be back. This is unbelievable.
Hornaday going to give his teammate a little bit of a handshake here, and Ron Hornaday is up to 4th in points, only 16 back.
What do we talk about the bounce in Ron Hornaday's step after he got in that 2 truck? He ran.
Getting out of the truck in Victory Lane, Mike Wallace celebrating his 5th career win in the Camping World Truck Series, making his 115th career start. Let's hear from the winner. He's with Ray Dunlap.
And Hornaday down here giving him congratulations. You're supposed to wait for my cue to get out of that truck, but I know it's been a while since you've been here, so we'll let you have that one. Congratulations, and talk about the teamwork that these two trucks had today.
The teamwork is so incredible because it started back at KHI. I got a call from Kevin last weekend when I was with my daughter Chrissy in Toledo about driving this truck. I showed up, and there was a plan from Monday morning of how this race would hopefully run. And right here, this is an incredible, unselfish individual, Ron Hornaday, because, you know, he could have worked for the win. Man, we were sideways at one point, but you just have no idea how.
You're the first winner for Chevrolet in a super speedway plate racing.
First winner for Chevrolet. Kevin Harvick, please come here. Come here.
Now, this is about as far as you two were apart all day, so I guess we'll do a tandem interview, too.
I have to thank Kevin Delane Harvey, everybody at KHI. Had he not given me this opportunity, it's been so long since I won a race, and nobody knows how much this means to me. I mean, it was my wife's anniversary, our anniversary on Thursday. Yeah.
You could have been in the Caribbean, but instead you were at Talladega, right?
It was the exotic Paradise Island, which is the infield of Talladega, but we just won Talladega. I understand the first Chevrolet to win at Talladega, and I'm just so appreciative. I mean, nobody really, how much work goes into this stuff, and just shows getting in a really good truck. I felt so good for Hornaday winning Kentucky a few weeks ago that he won again, and Kevin Harvick, you're the man, brother. I mean,
KHI 1-2, they're in victory lane. Big celebration coming up. Hermie?
After starting 6th, leading for a race-high 54 of 94 laps, and likely having an average speed of around 190 miles per hour, Wallace won his 9th NASCAR race and his 5th in the Truck Series. As of September 2024, Wallace has not started another race in the series, with his last NASCAR races being a trio of Sportsman Series races he did when he was 61 years old in 2020. I will note that Wallace did finish on the lead lap at each race, with finishes of 24th at Indianapolis and Road America and 25th at Daytona. In each race, he drove for the lower budget JD Motorsports team. This was Wallace's first NASCAR entry since 2015.